less sexist, and yet somehow worse.
Hello,
guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm joined by my brother. Hi.
Hi.
We are going to be discussing and reviewing the Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix TV show adaptation. Before we get into it, can you give me 3 words to describe your feelings about this adaptation?
Oh my god.
Oh my god?
Yeah, that's it.
For me, tell, don't show. Today we're going to be tier ranking the characters. There's so much to say about the characters. And then we're going to be tier ranking the episodes. Let's look at our tiers.
Yip.
Yip is just like the best tier out there. It just makes you feel so good just saying it.
Honor.
The
boulder feels conflicted.
The boulder feels conflicted. This is one where there's nuance. It could be better in future seasons, but for now we're just like feeling kind of about. Meh doesn't mean conflicted. Meh means neutral, indifferent.
Tier bending.
Tier bending, which we didn't do.
Movie.
What
movie?
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
Who?
For the fallen characters who did not make it into the adaptation, let's start with everyone's favorite Zuko. We like Zuko in the animated TV show.
Yes.
He is one of the best characters and has the best redemption arc. In the adaptation, what did you think about him?
He was honestly not the worst. He
I
was
would say
actually one of the better ones.
He was one of the highlights of the show. I laughed.
He was very sassy.
And he had probably one of the moments that we reacted to the most. He ruined my dream journal! Mr. Electric, get him expelled
He
at
stole
once!
my journal. That was really funny.
Was really good. I really enjoyed his relationship to Uncle Iroh. I feel like they added to it, right?
I think it was alright.
Like with the funeral, there were scenes that we hadn't seen before. Spoilers for later. I didn't enjoy Uncle Iroh as much as in the show. I think Zuko, for me, the one who was closest to his show counterpart. So, do we start with a yip? I feel like we're not gonna have any yips if we don't put Zuko in there.
I think this is the best we're gonna get.
So Zuko gets a yip from us.
Yeah.
My gripe with him is that I wish his scar was bigger. We saw how the Fire Lord gave him the scar.
It was very violent.
It was very intense.
Yeah.
And very deliberate. So I think his eyes would be more scarred. And Zuko in the show, his eye is like more closed on this side.
And he's missing an eyebrow.
Yeah, so I wanted to see more from that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Monk Gyatso.
Well, he had a lot of screen time, surprisingly. He was alright.
Controversial opinion. Monk Gyatso was what Aang should have been. He was a joy. He was always so happy.
He was very happy,
carefree, playful, all the things that Aang should have been. And Aang wasn't that. Obviously, he's not a character that I'm like, yeah, he's my favorite. Obviously, he's like a dude monk that appears in flashbacks only. I think
oh my god, his death scene.
His death scene was intense. You could tell that it's not Nickelodeon anymore. It was for 13 and over.
That. Yeah, he was good. I also liked his friendship with Aang. It was wholesome.
It was very wholesome. I feel like that's probably the best relationship we got to see Aang.
Probably, and it's only for like 2 episodes.
2 episodes. So moving on.
Who is this?
Exactly. You are such a fake fan. This is the Fortuneteller lady. She tells Katara that she's going to marry a very powerful bender. I think she was important to Katong's relationship and development, and she wasn't placed in there. So she's obviously going to go into who?
Yeah, I had no idea who she was. So Katong fans are starving.
Literally, at least show that Aang has a crush on her. It was Aang.
Yeah.
Aang. Turning to the movie, it was Aang.
Stop it. Oh my god.
Everyone's favorite waterbender.
Put him down there.
Movie?
Yeah.
This guy is the last avatar that was a waterbender avatar.
He was just so annoying. He was not helpful at all. All of his advice sucked.
Yeah.
It was not useful to Aang at all. He was just a loser. He was the worst avatar ever. Like
he is so irrelevant as an avatar. Yeah. And I didn't like the polar bear on his head. We didn't even get to see him surfing. Let's go in movie tier, right?
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He's just an uninteresting character who's completely irrelevant and forgettable.
Yes. Controversial one.
We
have Aang.
So how do we feel about Aang?
He's like not my favorite character, but he's a good protagonist, I think. He's fun,
cheerful, joyful.
He's not boring.
He's funny.
He's a little kid
who has a lot of responsibility thrust upon him, but he wants to evade it. But at the same time, and most importantly, he still learns waterbending throughout his journey.
Don't even start.
Why does Aang not waterbend himself once in this whole show? While the first season is all about Aang learning waterbending in the first place.
I'm so confused by the decisions that were made for that because it makes no sense.
Zero sense.
No sense. It's called Avatar. And we only see him airbend.
Yeah, and the first book is book 1. Water.
And in the animated show, we see him use water, obviously, but he also uses fire.
Going back to Katara and Aang, one of the main bonding things that they have is that they waterbend together. Not only do they learn together, but once Katara gets the waterbending scrolls, she starts teaching him, and then they start bending together while they're fighting. He runs away from his responsibilities all the time.
I was gonna say that when Katara is waterbending herself in the river, and he's like watching her, and she's like, do you want to train with me? And he's like, nah, I'm just gonna go.
And like, not do anything important or anything fun.
No.
Because in the show,
he was just lazy.
Yeah, he would go and do something irresponsible but fun, but here he would just be like, I'm just not going to do this.
Yeah, he just didn't want to.
No.
And then he feels all bad about, it's all my fault.
I never asked to be special, I just wanted to be normal.
You could have trained.
I don't feel like we should put him in movie, because he did something.
No, not that bad. But I think the actor, I also like the actor.
Yes.
I think he looks like Aang. I think it's not his fault. I think it's the writer's fault.
Yeah,
he
100%.
could do a lot better.
And he has the face, he has the smile, he has the eyes and the eyebrows especially for it.
Yeah.
So I think he has great potential if they change things around.
Yeah, they need to stop giving him monologues also.
Yes.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, save the monologues for Katara and her inspirational
He needs
speeches.
to be more silly.
Tear bending, because I know how good of a character he can be. I don't see this version of Aang going around in season 3 and throwing a forbidden dance party in the Fire Nation.
Yeah, no way.
I've had time to think about this, and I think I've changed my mind a little bit on this one. First of all, how do we feel about him in the original? I love Sokka.
I like Sokka. For me, Sokka is like with Aang in my personal ranking. Like they're fun characters, and I like seeing him grow.
I love him. Meat and sarcasm and boomerang guy. He only used his boomerang once in the whole season while he was training on Kyoshi Island. They focused on him being an engineer.
Yeah, he barely had any fight scenes now that I think about him. His best scene was, in my opinion, Suki.
With Suki! That was so good! We are Suki and Sokka lovers, and Suki, she's just, we'll talk about her later, but for me, Sokka goes in the boulder, feels conflicted.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he had some really great lines. I definitely laughed with some of his lines. He looks great, sounds like Sokka. He just didn't have enough lines as Sokka. And this is a problem with the main trio for me. They did not feel like a family. It's the same problem that I have with the 7 from Heroes of Olympus and with the Avengers, from the Avengers. They are not a family, they are a group of co-workers during a war.
Of course, he wasn't as funny as in the show, but he did add a few moments of
levity.
Humor, which this show, again, was lacking a bit. I think he did a decent job.
Yeah, he did a good job with what he was given. I think he can do a great job. Next up, we have our favorite monster.
Oh my god, this was traumatizing.
And I loved it.
This was genuinely creepy.
I was scared, mostly.
I got jump scared like a couple of times.
Me too, when they were crawling around, when this face was on a human's body.
Yeah, it was worse when it was a human. It was like
so
crawling
scary
towards the camera. Very weird.
Do we put this in conflicted because we were scared but we liked it, or in honor? So far we have Monk, Gyatso,
they did their job pretty well.
And Ko, the face-stealing monsters.
That's very interesting.
And that's very telling. Moving on, the Owl Man, who shows up in the show for the first time in season 2.
This was very random.
It was random and unnecessary. I wish we had seen the forest spirit, because
they kind of forgot about that plot.
Like, the whole premise was the forest spirit is mad, but then we didn't do absolutely anything about it.
Yeah, those episodes were very weird. Like the pacing was.
Yeah, they mashed up quite a few episodes, so
they didn't really know how to conclude each like storyline.
It
was very weird.
Weren't tied.
No, but like he just spoke a bit.
Yeah,
and
I liked his design.
Yeah, the animation was actually really good.
Kyo, something with EO.
Tio?
I feel the same about him, I think, as I did in the show. So mostly like an irrelevant character, so meh. The actor did
bad
well.
Putting him in meh, but
I don't want to put him with Sokka.
Yeah.
He was there.
We're gonna put him on top of Aang. That sounds so disrespectful.
I mean, it's because I know Aang had so much potential. I'm waiting for him to be great. This guy, I had no expectations, and he delivered on those expectations. He was okay. Everyone's favorite flying bison.
Oh, Appa.
Yip. Oh, Appa goes in Yip, right? He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was barely there, honestly.
You would think that a flying bison would not contribute to the plot normally, right? He's just their ride. But Appa does contribute to the plot normally. He's Aang's like emotional support because it's the tether to his past life. And he's just everyone's support actually, because
he's the best.
He's the one that he literally carries the show on his back.
Team Avatar.
They didn't do anything with him, and then in episodes 3 and 4, when they go to Amashu, he disappears, and they don't even mention him. Budget, expensive, but you can't do an Avatar show and worry about budget. I wish we could have gotten to see more from him, or at least mentions to why he wasn't around.
But I do think that he looked great.
Yeah, much better than in the old movie.
He kind of reminds me of like a buffalo or something. During some scenes, like he looked realistic. It didn't look too out of place. You know what I mean?
I could believe him in that world. So moving on to everyone's favorite hottie.
Oh,
that is June.
Wow, I loved her.
I loved her too. She was there like maybe in 2 episodes, but she barely had any screen time. What screen time she did have, she shone. She flirted with Uncle Iroh instead of the other way around. It was very funny, and she was very hot and very sexy.
Yes, she's the best.
So honor? I don't think she just.
I think she does. No, sorry. She deserves honor.
Okay.
Yeah, she delivered.
It's very ironic that Zuko is not in the honor tier. Oh my god.
Oh,
Two hotties, 2 baddies.
Actually,
in a row.
I really like Jet, actually.
Yip yip.
No, not Yip Yip.
Honor?
I would say honor.
Why is Monk Gyatso like with all the villains?
Yeah, I don't know, but I
now I'm questioning having co-op there. Well, we can check later, but it just seems so weird.
It's very random, yeah, but Jet. First of all, plot twist. I did not know that was him.
That's what I was gonna say. When he had his like ponytail up, I thought it was the other guy. The guy with the mustache who's an earthbender. When he had his hair down for the first time, I was like, this guy. Like at first I was like, he's cute, but whatever. And then I was like, oh my god.
It clicked.
I understand why Katara would accept him being a little bit morally gray and like want to go into the freedom fighters with him, because sign me up for the next war. Oh my god. The look.
I really liked this outfit.
I think it was my favorite outfit.
Yeah. It looked like so recognizable, but like not too
costumey.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
and his swords, they were
they were
cool.
so cool. And he was such a good fighter. Like his fight scene was so cool. It was very creative. Him and Suki are just, they're both so hot, obviously. They were giving, right?
They were.
They came and they ate. Kind of want to move him up to Yip Yip, but I'll calm down and then we'll revisit it later. I liked his character.
Yeah, me too.
I wish we could have seen him more and seen him with Sokka, because I feel like they're good polar opposites. Like morally, it would have been more fun to see the whole gang interact with the freedom fighters. Moving on to the second person that Sokka kisses in first season.
Yeah.
We have Princess Yue.
Where do we start? Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, the elephant in the room is her.
The wig. I feel really bad for the actress because it looks really weird.
Yeah, the actress is very pretty. I've seen her like with her normal hair. She's very pretty. But this...
And she did a good job, I think, but it's just...
I didn't like how her character was written. I feel like they tried to make her
No, but I mean like
quirky.
acting-wise. Like, acting-wise, she was good.
She delivered what she was giving. I feel like a cosplayer could have done a better wig.
And I've been seeing on Twitter like side-by-side comparisons of her and movie version, and
the movie's better. I just,
the movie's hair looked a lot
much better. And the actress was really cute. I feel like probably movie Yue is the best thing that came out of the movie.
Probably, yeah.
She was very cute.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say
also, as far as like her oh my god. As far as like her participation in this story is concerned, I thought she was I was very annoyed. And she like took forever to do anything.
And we didn't get to see any time spent with Sokka. Like
they fell in love like in one day.
It was half an hour.
Yeah, the chemistry she had with Sokka like was not believable. Also the fox.
The fox.
That was very weird. It was very weird.
I figured it out.
Movie. Wow.
Because the movie did it better, so I can't put it in tier bending. Paku and his very, very bold, shiny head.
Paku.
Less sexist, and yet somehow worse. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it didn't work with like Katara's character development, I think.
Why the hell did we not get a single waterbending class?
Yeah, they just like refused to teach Aang.
Do you know the worst thing about Aang this season?
What?
When they get to the North Pole, he doesn't support Katara in her wanting to train. He's like, you can just go and hide during the fight. I'm not going to support you in the show. In
not
the
our
original show.
No, he was hyping her up so much.
He went to waterbending classes and then at night he wanted to teach her what he'd learned because he didn't believe in that system.
And during her fight with Paku in the show, he was like so supportive.
Yeah, he was like, you go girl.
In this version, he was like staring like this. He was going like,
I can't believe you're doing this.
Yeah, he was like so disappointed or something.
They changed him for Sokka because I feel like Sokka would have been more like, you do what you want, but I'm not going to support you necessarily. But here, Sokka was like, he was supporting her a lot, and Aang...
It should be the other way around.
Yeah. Meh.
He didn't do a lot, honestly.
Ooh. Perfect timing. Katara. Tear bending.
Oh. That low?
No, okay, conflicted.
Oh, I was gonna say I liked Katara.
But we talked about the anger.
Oh yeah.
She needed that feminine rage. Katara.
Yeah, they watered down Katara a lot. She was very, I don't want to say bland, but she was a bit
she was nice.
She was nice.
She was mother, but mother without emotions. She was like a mother written by a man. We need conflicting emotions. Katara has always been full of anger at losing her mother and being the only waterbender.
I don't think we see her angry at all. Like, not even with Paku. She was more like determined than angry.
The first change that I didn't like was that she didn't get angry in the first episode, and that anger and overflowing power opened the iceberg.
Yeah, I have no idea why they changed that. That was so unnecessary.
And then the second biggest change is in the second to last episode in the north, when she decides she's going to fight Paku, she takes a day to deliver it.
I hate that.
Instead of it being like immediately, I'm gonna fight this old man.
Yeah, they made her like not at all like impulsive or short-tempered.
Katara does not think things through. If Katara wants to do something, she'll do something. She'll steal from pirates. She will fight a waterbending master who has waterbended his whole life. She will literally go on a boat as a prisoner to inspire earthbenders. So Katara is not someone who sits around and just delivers.
I feel like they made her less emotional.
They did. She's just like, it's okay.
Yeah, she was like very chill. Like she didn't let her emotions take over.
Yeah.
Which I guess they were trying to make her like
girl boss.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. Like she should be emotional. I don't know.
There are no character arcs. Where's Sokka's sexism? Where's Katara's helplessness to complete badass? I can't believe that she's her own waterbending master.
Yeah, that scene that was like in the last episode where she's like, I'm my own master.
Yeah.
Like
when Zuko calls her a peasant.
That was funny.
That was great.
That was funny.
Zuko, love to see it. But
no, Katara definitely needed guidance. Like, how is she supposed to train Aang? Like, no one's ever trained her. But I will say, I did like seeing her powers evolve.
It made sense, and I liked that she was picking up moves from other bendings.
Yeah, so I thought that was really good.
She's very smart, and clearly it's something that's a bit intuitive to her. It's very ingrained in her identity. From that to being the badass that we all know and love, she needs some classes.
Yeah, everyone needs classes.
Right.
No one's teaching anyone anything.
You know, girl power only gets you so far.
I do like her hair though.
Hair loopies were on point. The Fire Lord.
Ozai. I mean...
Meh? He shouldn't have been.
He shouldn't have been here. I like the casting.
Yes, he's so hot. Like the abs scene. Besides the torturing Zuko in public, the abs and the arms were giving.
I will say I did not like, we'll talk about this later I guess, but his relationship with Azula was very weird. I am not sure, I don't...
It doesn't add to Azula's character, it takes away. Meh?
Yeah, meh.
Meh. I liked his beard though, it's very poignant.
I'm excited to see him like as a main villain.
Because he is very imposing physically.
Yeah.
So I think he's very good for that. Gran Gran, I hated her.
Oh my god.
I hated her.
Why did she steal from Katara that way?
The intro!
Who cares? Why did they give that line to her?
They gave it to her, and then Kyoshi, I feel like, did say something like that.
Yeah, Kyoshi did like the water, fire.
Yes, and I think Sokka also had a line from the opening.
Everyone except Katara, that was crazy.
Movie.
Also, the fact that she hid the scroll from Katara all of her life.
It made no sense.
That was insane. Like, you could have been teaching her how to protect herself, at least.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy.
I
Notice how
like her.
there's only water drops.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
In the movie.
Well,
anyway.
And also her wig. I didn't like it. So, nothing good to say about her, so we can move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Uncle Iroh.
I liked him.
I really like him.
He was okay.
In the show. I'm not like a super fan. Like, there's a lot of people who are in love with Uncle Iroh.
I like
He
Uncle
wasn't like a creepy uncle. Like, he was a bit in the first season, so I like that. I feel like he was less wise.
I think
conflicted.
Yeah.
Right? Because he has potential. I loved the casting because I've seen this actor in other shows.
Yeah, his relationship with Zuko was definitely a highlight.
One of the best relationships, if not the best. I do have another one in mind.
Okay.
But
yeah, he was good.
Yeah, but he could be better.
Yes.
Moving on, my favorite character, Zhao.
He was low-key one of the best characters.
He was giving all the way. He didn't even know. He didn't even know what he was auditioning for. He thought it was the blue avatars.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This guy committed. He was like doing sign language all the time. But not just like this. He was like,
He was doing a lot, but I appreciate it. It was very entertaining.
I loved him. I would put him in Yippee.
I think he was camp.
He was camp in the best way.
Yeah, like he was very like a silly villain. Like what? He was so fake when he like pretended not to know about Zuko. That was crazy.
He's dead. Oh, so sad.
And then in like the finale, like he just pulled all of that out of his. I thought that was funny.
He was a good foil to both Zuko and the Fire Lord as antagonists, who are like more serious antagonists.
Yeah.
So I would put him in Yip Yip. One of the most enjoyable parts of the season for me.
Okay.
And he was so much better than in the show. Like this guy was giving. Too bad we're never gonna see him again.
Yeah,
unless they make a Korra remake.
He died.
Yeah, he did. Then we have Bumi, and I'm sorry.
Movie.
I
hate how they made him interact with Aang.
Oh.
He was so annoying.
He was so annoying.
He was literally
senile.
And I was rewatching some scenes with him and Aang in the animated show, and they seemed like friends.
Yeah.
And this one, he just kept like attacking Aang. He was coming for his throat.
It wasn't endearing. It wasn't funny. And it at the end, when they do bond and they go on like the ride on the mail system, I was like, that's not earned.
There was no build up.
You've been threatening him for so long.
Poor Aang. He was so done with him.
Yeah, and he didn't seem like a good ruler. He wasn't that buff when he took his shirt off, and I didn't like his clothes or his castle. And I feel like maybe he had some prosthetics. He just felt very fake. Like
he didn't look
human
at all. Like
no, clearly they wanted a buff person, but a buff person is in like a 70-year-old or 110. He didn't feel like a human. I don't want to even talk about him.
Yeah, let's move on.
Momo.
Oh my god.
Momo was a little bit nightmare-inducing because of the CGI. He was okay throughout the show, barely there, and then in the last episode, he sacrifices himself to save a random girl.
Yeah, Momo would never do that. I'm sorry.
And why was Momo there instead with Aang?
I have no idea.
What?
But isn't Momo like always shown to be like very selfish? Like he's just an animal.
He's a lemur.
He only worries about himself, right? Why would he save a random child? Like
I don't think Momo is ready to save anyone. And he literally dies. Yue, instead of going around trying to heal people and save them, she like takes this lemur and spends a good half an hour saving its life.
Like everyone was dying.
People dying, and she's like, no. This
like
flying lemur.
Yeah, and then when Sokka hugged him, like they were best friends. Like they literally only interacted one time.
Once when he like climbed on his head.
Yeah, that was crazy.
There was no Momo interaction with anyone, least of all Aang or Sokka. So it's like
I'm sorry.
You have to earn those emotional beats. It wasn't earned.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would give him tear bending.
Tear bending.
Yeah, because I would have preferred if they just like only showed him those couple of times in the background. Like it's just that last episode that ruined him for me.
Yeah, moving on to my favorite character.
Iconic.
We were robbed. Episode 2 with the Kyoshi Warriors was probably my favorite episode. We barely got to see anyone react to Aang being the Avatar in an excited way. No one was excited to see Aang.
Because everyone was simping over Kyoshi the entire episode.
Fair enough. No, not movie. Who? Because he wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
No one fangirled over the Avatar. They barely let him stay there, and Aang didn't do his Marvel trip.
Yeah.
So I kind of missed that. So
yeah, they were all kind of haters.
We have our hippies from the secret tunnel.
Wait, actually...
They were there. I couldn't find any pictures.
I thought they did that really well.
It was a reference. It didn't add to the plot. They weren't there like in their original episode. No. But
it worked.
It worked.
Honor? Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Our honor tier is freaking weird, man.
It's unhinged.
I can't believe we have these people in honor, and then right under them we have Katara Sokka, and Iroh.
Yeah, the secondary characters got their time to shine in the show, not gonna lie.
Which I love to see, but at the same time, not at the expense of the main characters.
Yeah.
Because none of these characters have character arcs.
Nope.
Mostly they just die or do nothing. My mother. But we did get to see her in a flashback. I feel like she's there.
She had like 1 minute of screen time?
Yeah, probably.
We got to see her death. That was very brutal.
Oh my god.
And Katara witnessed that.
On fire.
That was crazy.
As a 6-year-old, I don't know how old Katara was.
That was traumatizing.
It was insane. Haru?
Who?
Exactly, who? I wanted to see him with a mustache in season 3, but that's gonna be impossible.
Yeah, because that's not gonna happen.
The episode wasn't even referenced when they gave us,
I think that we're never gonna get him.
It added to Katara being an it girl. Oh. Another controversial character.
Hot take. Well, I don't think
literally hot.
Yeah, true.
Azula. Do we like Azula in the original show?
I love Azula.
She's one of the best characters. She goes from bad
She goes on a downward spiral. But I love that. She's intimidating, she's powerful, she's confident.
Awkward around boys.
Oh yeah, awkward. She's scary. Like she's a really good villain.
Yeah,
she's ambitious.
I like her more than Fire Lord Ozai as a villain because she feels more human. And we see her being a teenager. Yeah. At least her version of a teenager. So she's like a natural person.
Yeah, that's a very good episode.
I don't like what they did to her because they made her weaker.
Well, first of all, why is she even here? I think it would have been so much cooler to have like the suspense for, Azula's coming next season. Like, who's gonna be the actress? I think they could have used her screen time and used it to develop the plot.
100%. I think we didn't even need to see anything that happened in the Fire Nation.
Like I think the only thing it added to the plot was that she was secretly working with
Zhao.
With Zhao.
She's supposed to be the best from the beginning. What do we put her in? Tear bending or movie? I don't think she was as bad as the other ones.
Okay, yeah, tear bending.
Like she had her moments.
I still have a little bit of hope for her in the second season. I think they tried to use this season to like establish her as someone very powerful, and then she's gonna be just badass in the second season.
This is Mai. I hated her. And I think the same should be said for Ty Lee, so I'm just gonna go right ahead.
You have beef with these two girls for some reason.
The beef is that they look like cosplayers. One of my strongest arguments against this show is that they didn't create a world where these clothes are believable. Jet and the Kyoshi warriors, I believe. I don't know, maybe it's because it's more armor, but their day-to-day clothes with those bright colors and just everyone wearing the same color.
The hair.
Yeah, the hair. I've seen pictures of Mai without that hair. She's cute, but the hair that they gave her makes her look so boxy.
Oh yeah.
It's not a look. And then for Ty Lee, she has like the most cosplayer bangs ever. I hated them. Her whole look looks like she's been cosplaying. I've seen people cosplay this look just as good as this. It shouldn't look like cosplay. It should look realistic within the world. Let's adapt, not copy people.
You feel better?
No, I want them to change it. The actress for Ty Lee, I would say, perfect casting.
Yeah, like, she was the best out of the three.
Like her voice, her face, everything. I was like, that's Ty Lee. What did they add to the plot?
Absolutely nothing. That was my main criticism. Like they were always just standing there, just
watching Azula.
But literally just like standing, like they were like this.
You know why they were there? So that Azula could monologue her reasons.
It was definitely surprising to see them, but it would have been better to see them introduced in season 2, but well.
Moving on, I downloaded his picture twice. We have Cabbage Man.
Oh wow.
And I loved him. They played with our emotions at first.
They were teasing us.
They teased him. Is he going to say it?
And then he did.
Honor? Honor.
He did a good job.
He did a good job. This man...
It was fan service, but it was endearing. Hot take.
No,
this is a hot take.
Biggest hot take.
Kyoshi.
Straight up. Do you want to start the rant?
Like the other Avatar guy, why is she so unlikable? Like, why did every Avatar give Aang the worst advice ever? I feel so bad for him. Her scene in the spirit world was literally just her screaming at a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
She was super tall, I will say that. And I did not like her possessing Aang. No.
He was possessed by her in the Warriors episode and then by the waters. Or the
water spirit.
The water
spirit. It was not Aang ever.
Aang never controlled the Avatar state.
It takes away so much from Aang's development because in that Kyoshi island or whatever, they, like we said, they did not respect Aang at all. And if they saw him in the Avatar state save everyone, maybe they were like, oh, like this is actually the Avatar, and that would have made Aang feel like he has like this responsibility or whatever. But no, they gave that moment to Kyoshi. I feel bad because I liked her in the anime show.
She was
like,
okay.
She was cool, but now it's like it's too much.
Past Avatars.
Oh my god, the dad.
We wanted a DILF and we didn't
Straight
get it.
to movie.
And he was like horrible.
He was such a bad person.
How do you say that about your? If this is an
horrible.
actual flashback, how do you say that about your son?
That was awful.
Out in the open,
Out
you're
in
like,
the open.
I'm not proud of him. I'm disappointed, in fact. No.
Just no.
Basically.
And he didn't look the part either.
Yeah, he wasn't hot. In terms of the uncle, I feel like he kind of defended Sokka.
Yeah, he was a better father figure, honestly.
I would say meh, because he wasn't giving, but he did a better job.
Yeah, I didn't hate him, so.
This is the gang, the freedom fighters. I couldn't find a good picture of them.
Yeah,
I think they're honor.
Yeah, they're honor. I really like them.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna look like very cosplay, cartoon, but I think they did a surprisingly really good job.
The people who don't look like they're from a particular nation look better.
Yeah, they were cool.
What's his face? Longshot? The one with the bow and arrow? He looked exactly like him. Like he had the nose and the face.
Yeah.
Pipsqueak was looking great. The Duke was looking great.
That other girl.
Smeller Bee or Tracker something
She
Bee.
looked good too.
She looked good.
Like they were very recognizable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like them a lot actually.
And they didn't look like cosplayers. So would love to see more of them. Hopefully they'll have them in season 2 as well.
Yeah. Why is Gran Gran here again?
Lieutenant
G?
G?
He was okay.
He had sideburns. He had like a weird relationship with Zuko because in the original show, we get a whole episode of Iroh bonding with the crew and him telling them Zuko's backstory. In this one, he alludes to the backstory to this guy only. And then the next time they all see Zuko, without having told anyone else, the crew doesn't know, they haven't spoken, now we respect you. Meh?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't dislike him.
Yeah, he was there.
Probably had more character development than Aang or Katara.
I like the element that he added to like this Zuko, like
dynamic.
the fact that no one respects him and everyone kind of hates him because he's such
a teenager.
Yeah, he's very rude.
Should we put him in the Boulder feels conflicted? Honestly, Zuko's crew and the people he hang around with are probably like the most interesting ones. That's why they're the ones in the Yip Yip tier. Avatar Roku.
Okay, he was my least disliked Avatar.
I did not like him because he was like in a silly, goofy mood, and like Roku, there's literally lives on the line.
Yeah,
what
that's
are we
true.
doing here?
We didn't see his dragon.
Budget. Okay,
I think you disliked him more than I did.
I'm gonna put him in meh.
Yeah, he was meh for me. Such bad influences for poor Aang.
They're so pressed, so mad. Like, what for? You're dead.
Oh, we're here! Yes! Queen has arrived.
So I've always loved Suki, okay?
Everyone.
Because she
loves
is
Suki.
incredible.
She's the best.
She's such a badass. She's a girl boss, but in the best sense of the word. She's a leader, she's a warrior, but she's a girl, right?
Yeah.
She's still a girl.
She has personality.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
She's fun.
She's well-rounded. She was everything and more that I could have asked for.
I loved her.
Probably my favorite character in the whole show, Zuko.
Not gonna lie,
Get
probably.
out. Get out. Goddamn. Move. This
He's
order.
been dethroned.
He's been dethroned.
She was beautiful.
Physically,
the actress?
incredible. Yes.
Wow.
Her fight scenes were so interesting
really
because
cool.
the fans, they were metal. Her trying to flirt with Sokka.
That was really
by
fun.
beating him up because
I really like that.
She was like a puppy playing with another puppy, and she's like, I don't understand why you don't like being beaten up by me. Right?
Yeah, that was cool.
She was so cute.
Seeing like training Sokka.
Yes.
Like yes, it all happened in like 1 day or 2 days, but the chemistry was there.
It was believable because for both of their characters, this is the first outsider that they've met that's their age and that they are attracted to. So they've never seen anyone new. So it makes sense like the first person you see, you might be attracted to, and they have similar likes because they're both interested in being warriors and protecting their village.
Yeah.
This made sense. Such good chemistry. I'm not even going to complain about the kiss because I feel like it made sense. I think both of them were like, we're probably never going to see each other again. Like, you're going off with the Avatar, I'm staying on my island. If I kiss anyone else in my village, they're probably related to me. So I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though it's not in the show. It has
a lot
such
better
good...
than the Yue kiss.
It reminds me.
Oh wow.
I think my favorite characters are both Suki and Jet. I feel like they did such a good job. I think Suki was better because she had more chemistry with Sokka. Jet was serving all the chemistry with Katara. Katara wasn't.
Yeah, she wasn't responding.
No. I feel like she should have. Ozai, the engineer.
I mean, man, he looked like the character.
Yeah, but that's it. The character in and of itself isn't that interesting in the show either. So the fact that they gave him 2 whole episodes, I was like, oh yeah.
This is crazy. This is a crazy list.
Disclaimer, this would never be the list for the original show.
No.
Except maybe Suki and Zuko. And Appa.
And Appa.
Okay, so wait, the Yip Yip tier Except
and then
Zhao.
Zhao. That's
honestly, Zhao is probably more for me.
I probably would have placed him in honor, but I'm not complaining. Like he was very entertaining.
So we decided on this as a final ranking. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Just real quick, give us your, since we have 4 in Yip Yip, give us your top 4 for original show. I mean you.
Oh, me?
You can also do it.
Okay.
But you first.
From the original show, okay. Katara, Toph, Zuko. I want to say Azula.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
I want to say Azula.
For me, Sokka and Toph, Suki and Zuko. I also love Katara though. So I don't know. Maybe I'll take Zuko off and put Katara on there because I love Katara more overall.
Fair. Yeah.
Before it hits midnight, let's go and do the tier ranking for the episodes.
God. Okay, yes.
This is easier, okay? It's gonna be shorter.
So we have Team Avatar worthy. Ember Island players.
I've seen a lot of people say that this whole show is the Ember Island, and I would agree.
That's rough, buddy.
It's not terrible, but it's rough.
Exposition dump.
Emphasis on the dump.
My cabbages.
Oh, before we get into the episodes, I thought it'd be fun to play the movie.
Oh.
The Last Airbender with Aang.
Wow, with Aang, yeah.
I don't think this even deserves to be in my cabbages.
It deserves a tier of its own, honestly.
Yeah.
If we're gonna put it down here, I don't think any episode is as bad as this. Like, let's be real.
Spoilers, but the last 2 got a bit close.
It was a mess.
At least this was a mess while visually looking like the show.
Yeah, definitely. Like, anyone who says that this show is worse than the movie is lying.
We start with episode 1, Aang.
I think this was one of the stronger episodes. I will say I was very surprised that, like, most of the episode was flashback to the Airbenders.
Yes.
Like, Katara and Sokka got introduced in, like, the halfway point, more or less. Yeah, it was visually, I loved the, like, mountains. That was really cool. I would have liked to see Aang interact with other
Airbenders.
children.
Yeah.
Like, it was all with Gyatso, which was fine. But, yeah. I don't know, it was fine.
I think Ember Island players. I think that's a fair point. One of my main criticisms from this episode, the clothing, the normal day-to-day clothing that they wear in the Southern Water Tribe felt too light to be in the South Pole. It didn't look like they were wearing furs.
Yeah, overall it was an alright episode. Like, I think you can definitely tell they were changing things from the original story, but at this point in the show, I was ready for it. I was ready to accept this.
The first 2 episodes and the first 2 last were adaptations of 2-part episodes.
Yeah.
That helped.
Okay, yeah.
That it was closer,
yeah, that's
right?
True.
Pretty solid. A good introduction to the characters.
That was alright.
Suki episode.
Yeah, this one was
Warriors.
very good.
I think Team Avatar worthy.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought the show was okay. It was fine. It was entertaining. It was interesting to look at.
I didn't hate it.
So when I say Team Avatar worthy, it's not Team Avatar from the show worthy. It's relative to this.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Pros, Suki. Cons, Kyoshi.
Oh.
Let's remember that she's here.
Yeah, that's true.
And that Aang is just depressed and just wants help from Kyoshi this whole episode. He does not interact with anyone in the village. He does not do any cool airbending tricks.
They butchered him in this show. I feel so bad.
Honestly, pros and cons, but we remember.
It was a good episode. It was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
I did not like that it wasn't Zuko who burned down the village. A weird sentence, I know, but it adds to their development because Zuko seems more like the actual antagonist. Zuko followed them around. We didn't even get to see him.
he wasn't very
He wasn't chasing the Avatar. He was antagonist from the beginning instead of villain.
And most times that he found and he was like, surrender, come with me.
Yeah.
Like he didn't
fight.
look like he was willing to fight him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't burn down a whole village. So later on when we see him interact with Suki for the first time, it's like, well, it was Zhao, right? I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm not like that much of a bad guy. There's no nuance. A good character is good and a bad character is bad. We don't get to see a good character have flaws. So good has a lot of flaws, which is why he was in Yip Yip tier.
Yeah. They made him definitely a lot sillier,
Yeah.
but it was fun to watch.
He was the most teenager of them all.
Yeah, he was very
so
moody,
angsty.
very
I love
angsty.
to see it. Episode 3.
This was my favorite.
What was this called?
Omashu.
Omashu, they were lesbians.
Oh, I love that.
Yes,
I love
lesbians,
that.
Omashu. So Team Avatar worthy, because I remember.
This was my favorite episode.
I remember watching it and then you turning to me and like, this was the best episode.
Yeah, I really liked it for some reason. I mean, Jet was there.
Jet was there. Katara was there with Jet.
Yeah, this was like before the Bumi. Bumi didn't appear in this one, I think.
No, not at all.
So a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really like this episode. I don't even remember what Zuko was doing during this episode.
he was infiltrating.
Oh yeah,
we get that cool scene
the fight
with
scene,
Aang
right? Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
And can I just say one of the funniest scenes was like Katara storming out of the room saying that she was gonna prove everyone wrong, and then immediately storming back in saying I was
wrong.
Like Jet's crazy. That was so funny.
I was wrong.
And Sokka and Aang had not moved. Like they were still in that room.
There,
that was so funny.
In the same position, so they're like, sure. Katara just had like her own huge side quest in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was really funny to me.
This is the episode where Appa disappears. Okay, moving on to episode 4, the Bumi episode, which is called...
I mean, it was kind of a...
forgettable episode.
I mean, not forgettable, but unenjoyable. Like,
yeah, uninteresting.
We got Bumi this episode. That was... I liked Zuko and Iroh in this episode.
I liked the fact that Zuko chose to go after Iroh instead of the Avatar, something that he will not do later on, but I think that that's rough, buddy.
And was this the episode with the flashback, Iroh's flashback?
So maybe highs and low lows. I think so. And then
also the cave with Katara and Sokka, that was too long. Like they were in the cave that whole episode.
And they didn't do anything. Took away from Katara and Aang and their development, honestly.
Oh yeah, that was a highlight.
Yes.
That was the best part.
I love that. So see, this episode just went like this.
Yeah.
Spirited away. If episodes 3 and 4 mashed up Omashu, secret tunnel, the guy in the wheelchair they're like living in the air temple, the freedom fighters, and I think that's it. That's all they mashed up, like 4 episodes or more. This one also mashed up like 100 episodes. But this one was
weirder. Like,
so this one starts, the premise that they eventually forget is that a village has had a whole forest burned down, and then there's an angry spirit that comes and takes people away. They go, they try to connect with the spirit, and they enter, the 3 of them, for some reason, they enter the spirit world. Here, things start going crazy. Because Katara and Sokka are both taking away to have their own flashbacks with, I feel like, don't further their character arcs.
No.
It does nothing, it just gives you like an insight as to what their lives were. But it also, for me, was very unclear as to if this was actual events or if they were playing with their minds. I think it was. Aang is just like, well, I have to get out of here. In the actual show, what we get is Katara and Sokka get a fever. Aang tries to save them. And in the way, he gets captured and then rescued by Zuko.
But
in the span of a day, here he leaves them in the spirit world.
And their bodies are defenseless.
Yes! Oh my god, so nothing happens in this episode.
No, it's filler. That's what I said.
Exposition dump.
What?
The panda, we can see him. He looked very cool.
It was
for like half a second. Goodbye. Never to be seen again.
We don't see the real panda. We only see the monster panda.
There's no redemption.
I mean, more things happen, but at the same time, it feels like they're less important because in the show, in the anime show, it's like the end game is reaching the Northern Water Tribe, whereas here it's like we do a lot of stuff and one of them is going to the Water Tribe. It's like it's not the main focus of the show at all.
A lot of things happen at the same time, but it's just in 2 different places. How hard is it to do a montage of Katara narrating, the next couple of weeks, we saved so many villages?
I haven't even thought of that.
The references could have been parts of the montage.
And we could have seen Katara and train in a montage.
Yes. Episode 6 is Masks. All Zhao is in it. I would put this one in Ember Island Players just because I know there's not going to be any others good enough to go on that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and I like Zuko, and I liked his relationship with Aang.
I think that
one of the most redeveloped ones.
The end of the episode where they're just like hanging out, the 2 of them. Mm-hmm. It was cute. Interesting.
The North?
Yeah.
Well.
These were a mess.
Wig. Terrible. Katara.
They butchered her arc.
Our heights have changed quite a bit during this video.
I will say her fight was pretty cool.
It was.
I liked it.
Because it looked like the one in the show.
Yeah, pretty much. And her hair that scene was surprising.
That was good.
She
had like an Elsa transformation.
I mean,
that's rough, buddy.
Yes.
And then the next one. What was Aang doing? Sokka was flirting, and Aang was just feeling bad for himself and not training. And not supporting Katara in her like girl boss era. So we hated that.
I was very disappointed in Aang.
He would let her commit war crimes and he would support her. That's how far he would go for her.
Probably.
Episode 8, exposition dump. That's where it goes.
Definitely. I mean, it's not as bad as the movie.
Okay.
It was very bad though. It was very exposition, like you said, when he said that if he killed the ocean spirit, every waterbender would die. Like, what?
Okay. Fair enough.
And then he said, I'm not gonna do that. But then, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Because the Fire Lord 100 years ago killed every Airbender. Why wouldn't he want to kill every Waterbender?
Yeah, just wipe out another race while you're at it.
And he's insane. We already know Zhao is capable. I think he would have done that. I don't know.
I kind of like that he didn't.
I mean, yeah.
As my favorite character, I'm glad he didn't commit a genocide.
Anyway, we've already talked about Momo. That part was very silly.
Very silly.
It was very
the silly, goofy mood of Momo.
Yeah, it wasn't Aang.
It wasn't Aang.
It was the ocean spirit.
Yeah.
The ocean spirit was angry.
Aang just refuses to waterbend in any capacity, so...
Literally not once in the entire show.
No.
Like, not once.
Him not waterbending really changes his dynamic, his character dynamic with Katara.
Yeah.
Because they have, at first, like a mentor relationship, right? That's non-existent here.
No.
The one thing I could find interesting, now that I've accepted that it's so changed, is that we're going to get a very interesting dynamic between Katara, Aang, and Toph, because Toph and Katara are going to be teaching Aang at the same time, at the same level. So it's going to be interesting to see the juxtaposition between their teaching styles now that Katara is like very soft and very nice. Overall thoughts, closing thoughts.
First half, decent.
They really had us in the first half.
Yeah, they had us in the first half. Second half, very messy, all over the place, but not trash. Still watchable.
I think they should change the people in the writers' room.
Yeah, definitely.
The heart wasn't there.
No. I mean, I think it has potential to get better.
Exactly. Like, I have hopes.
I'm definitely gonna be very excited for the second season.
Yeah, we're gonna watch
if it comes.
We're
I would
gonna
love to
watch
see
it.
Toph.
It's a chill time.
Yeah.
It could be much better.
Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click that like button.
And comment down below which one was your favorite change and your least favorite change or favorite character, because obviously we had some unconventional character.
Please tell us, do we have horrible taste? Or
am I right? And Zhao is the best character in this whole show.
Are we insane for this tier list?
I don't think so. Subscribe if you haven't already and click that notification bell so you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos every single Friday. Just like this, except probably a little bit shorter and not with this guy usually. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye! I'm the Melon Lord.
What a tribe.
Avatar state. Yip yip.
Dear
bending. My first girlfriend turned into the moon.
That's rough, buddy.
My own mother thought I was a monster.
She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
It just keeps exploding in my face, just like everything else in my life.
It's Sparky Sparky Boom Man.
I forget the joke, but the punchline is, leave me alone, I'm bushed.